Sterling Hitchcock wild pitch allowed Andrew Jones to score. Arizona 5 in the first on those 3 home runs. Gonzalez, Williams, and Durazo. It's 6-4. Arizona leads Pittsburgh, bottom of 7. Larkin scoops, throws. They just did get the speedy Martinez. Well, the Reds had 2 infield hits, parlayed it into a run. The Expos almost did the same. We're going to the bottom of 8. Dimitri due up first. Can the Reds push one across? Dimitri's on. Here comes Casey. 23rd double for the Reds left fielder. Here's Sean, who's 0 for 3. Flied out, popped out, and hit into a double play. There's a strike from the left-hander Klein. Klein heated up the whole last inning, was not used. They bring him in this inning to turn Dimitri around, but that backfired. Now let's see if Casey can get this go-ahead run in. Sean's average to 336 after the 0 for 3. Fights off a pretty good pitch, and it's 0-2.
Klein is pretty tough on left-handed hitters, holding him to about a batting average of around 200. Coming after you with a fastball and a hard slider right there. That ball got right in on Casey's hands.
Miguel Batista back up and throwing, right-hander for the Expos in the bullpen. No balls, 2 strikes to Casey. Lying down and away, and it's 1-2. Dodgers 5, Philadelphia 4 in the 6th inning. Park against Shoemaker in that one. At Milwaukee, San Francisco still leads 4-1 in the 5th inning against the Brewers. Kent, Burks, and Bonds each have homered there. Casey waves at it, and Sean is punched out. An 0 for 4 day for Casey.
And against 3 different pitchers. The last 3 outs that Sean Casey has made have come off breaking balls after flying out on the fastball the first time up.
Now here comes Larkin. They will walk him intentionally with 1 out. Does 2 things. Number 1, it disposes of the Reds' best hitter with runners in scoring position, and it sets up a possible double play that could end the inning with Taubensee coming to the plate. Eddie's in the on-deck circle.
Well, Klein, like Danny Graves, is a ground ball pitcher. In fact, he's given up just about the same ratio of ground balls to fly as has Danny Graves. So you have to go with the percentage as your Felipe Alou.
So with Taubensee due up, Greg Vaughn is making his way out of the Reds dugout. We'll see if Felipe will go with his right-hander in response. So Vaughn out, starting to loosen. They have announced Vaughn, and he'll go out and bring in the left-hander, probably double switch him in, because the pitcher's due up first in the next inning. So while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. And as a player, you got to learn that early, right, Chris?
Yeah, sounds like something Dick Williams would have said too. Maybe he stole the line from Gene Mauch. Miguel Batista, the new pitcher for Felipe Alou and company. He's the 4th of the day. It was Dustin Hermanson, Anthony Telford, Steve Klein in this inning, and now Miguel Batista, the hard-throwing right-hander. He came in and pitched in Friday night's ball game. Pitched very well in his couple of innings. 25 games on the year. He was a starter, so that explains the number of innings he has pitched overall. Recently moved to the bullpen. He's a strikeout pitcher with some pretty good stuff.
And he'll face a guy who's the object of all the binoculars around the ballpark right now. That's Greg Vaughn. Vaughn hitting for Taubensee. Had the day off today. Steps in with 29 home runs and 78 runs batted in. Reds don't need a home run here. They need a base hit to score Dimitri Young from second base. Breaking ball down and away for ball 1. Orlando Merced double switched into left field. He'll lead off the next inning. White moves to center. Guerrero is over in right field. Martinez has left the game. That's That's where they want to stay to Vaughn, but the breaking ball's away.
Well, too anxious up there, Greg Vaughn, thinking he's going to get a strike in that situation, and you would normally think so. But Batista just trying to stay away from him with the slider. That's where they like to stay, down and away, but make him throw strikes.
Vaughn 0 for 4 against Batista in his career. Ball and a strike to Greg. On the corner, another strike. It's 1-2.
Nicely placed right there.
Left-handed batters have hit .318 against Batista. Right-handers only .232, but right-handers have homered 7 times against this right-hander. Check swing, but fouled off.
Got to remember that a lot of those numbers, you know, were from Batista when he was a starting pitcher. A lot of times you see a guy 2 or 3 times in a game, it gives you a better clue. But for Vaughn, he's seeing him here. I think he saw him on Friday night, but now he's seeing him here again today. Sometimes as a reliever, you bring out different stuff, and definitely a different philosophy.
1-2 to Vaughn. 2 on, 1 out. He got it. Well, Vaughn is retired. There's your second strikeout of the inning. 2 away, and another look at the first strikeout for Batista.
Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, fastball, and this boy gets on him right now. That's a kind of a getaway fastball right there that had a little bit of a hump to it.
This looks like a similar approach that he would use to Aaron Boone. The way they've pitched him the whole series, breaking balls away and then trying to get him to go fish for fastballs up.
Well, the key pitch in that at bat that Greg Vaughn was that 1-0 slider that was way out of the strike zone that Vaughn went and chased.
Popped up. Merced can't find it. Mordecai's got it. Well, a moment of trepidation for Felipe and a moment of dejection for Jack McKeon. The Reds strand the pair. Don't take the lead. We're still tied at 2 as we go to the 9th. Bill White and Mike Mordecai, top of 9. Atlanta's won over San Diego, final 3-2. As Williamson gets set to deal to Merced. Orlando's bounced around the last couple of years after coming up and looking like he would be a fixture in right field for the Pirates. The career, because of that number on the left side, has taken a downturn. The average down, the home run production down. Although when he opened his year with the Expos, he debuted on April the 6th and had a pinch hit home run in his first game as an Expo. That was his 900th career hit. Off the bench, 5 for 22 as a pinch hitter on the year. Here he's behind 0-2. Drilled right at Pokey, gobbles it up. Over to Casey, that'll do it. Pokey playing him perfect and took a very tough hop that exploded right in front of him. There's one away.
Too good of a pitch by Scott Williamson on an 0-2 count, but there's Pokey right there. If he's playing either side of that ball, it's going to be a base hit because that was a rocket shot. But 1 up, 1 down.
Reds baseball on Fox Sports Net Ohio, brought to you by the new Dodge. Stop by and see the winning lineup of cars, trucks, minivans, and SUVs at the friendly Dodge dealer near you. Rondell White pops it up. Brian Johnson into the game, peers up into the sky and gloves it. 2 away. Johnson's behind the plate in place of Taubency, who was pinch hit for by Greg Vaughn. The rest of the Reds lineup stays the same. Again, our scores: Mets 2 in the bottom of the 9th, win over St. Louis 8-7, the first of 2. Second game underway. Stevenson against Hershiser in game 2. Braves beat San Diego 3-2. That's a final now. Colorado's gotten a run to lead Chicago 1-0. Top of 6 at Wrigley Field. Houston and Florida just about ready to get underway. Our scores today, as always, provided by Gil Voigt. Up in the back of the box with the wire next to him. Line drive center. Here comes Cameron. He holds on. Great break for Cameron. He makes this play on his first step. Line drive from Mordecai. He looks at Cameron and says, "What galaxy do you come from?" Here's another shot of the gem by the cannon. The Reds will try to wrap it up in the bottom of 9. One deep with Chris Myers at 9 o'clock. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Jake the Snake Plummer will sit down with Chris. Talk about the great year that Arizona had and the new emotion that's surrounding the desert area thanks to his quarterbacking. Going deep Sunday at 9 on Fox Sports Net. Jake the Snake Plummer and Chris Myers should be a great addition, so tune it in. By the way, don't forget, right after today's Reds game, we'll give you a second look at the Bengals game from Friday night. And Chris, we want to send our best to Kelvin Moore and hope that he recovers from a very tough injury he suffered on Friday night, possibly career-threatening. Still too early to tell. Kelvin, bounce back, and we hope you're back and healthy soon. Here's Pokey Reese, the number 8 hitter, 0 for 3. Bounced out, popped out, struck out. 9-game hitting streak on the line. Reds just need a base runner here, trying to get somebody around. Batista's second inning of work, down to third but foul. American League, Baltimore in the 7th leads the White Sox 7-1. Kansas City, Tampa Bay 1-1 in the 7th. New York leads Minnesota 3-1 in the 6th inning. Georgie Posada's hit his 11th home run, also tripled in a run. In that Baltimore lead over Chicago, Mike Mussina hit by a line drive. He had to leave the game. Everything else in the American League still to come. Up high to Pokey. Great job as always by Gil Voigt feeding us the scores today, and only rightly so. We feed him every day, so he's got to feed us the scores. He clears out the lunchroom here at Synergy. Right back to Batista, bobbles it. So does Mordecai, and Pokey's on. Oh, like the greased pig. Got by 2 fielders, and Pokey's on.
Boy, and watching other ball teams play defense, you really realize how spoiled you are watching Larkin and Reese up the middle. This is not an easy play because the way the ball hops up there, and it's almost shielded by the pitcher, so it's hard sometimes for the shortstop to feel the rhythm of a ground ball. It sounds funny, but that's what you can do at shortstop. But we've seen the Expos make a lot of plays this afternoon that should have been made, that have gone for base hits, that were not made, and that's one reason why the Reds are in this ball game.
And Williamson due up, so Steins will pinch hit for him. So Jack McKeon goes to the bench. Chris Steins, last time he pinch hit in a big situation, a 3-run home run that gave the Reds a 12th inning victory. Here's Steins to come off the bench. In this situation, Jack McKeon's choices are many. You can have him sacrifice. Steins is one of the Reds' best bunters. You can hit and run with him. You could have Pokey try to steal, and then have Steins try to get him over the third. So we'll see what McKeon opts to do. The options are many. Steins pretty good handler of the bat. They threw over just to see if Steins would square. He did not show any indication that he was bunting there. Reese was not far from the bag at all. They just tried to read and see if Steins would square on first move. Scott Sullivan up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. Shows bunt, takes a ball. Long look at Ron Oster. Oster waits to get Pokey Reese's attention. Now he rolls through the signs. Andrews a third of the way in from third. Squaring again, and it's outside for a ball. Good eye by Steins.
Real good eye. That merely makes a difference in the at-bat, not necessarily from a defensive standpoint, but offensively now. You've got to figure the pitcher's going to throw a strike. You can put a lot of different things on here for Chris Steins. Possibly a hit and run, a much more serious lead that last pitch for Pokey Reese at first base than the first pitch.
2-0, Batista to the stretch. Swing in, fouled off. The hit and run was on, and Pokey was off and running.
Boy, he had a big jump.
And now it's 2-1. Pretty good pitch for Steins to get a rip at. Kind of kicks at the dirt as he let one get away. Now what do? Do you run him again? 2-1 the count. Reds ahead in the count. Reese 1 foot on the turf at first. He's going. Steins, good bunt. Batista grabs it, can't get the handle, and he's set. Well, the Montreal Expos are a team with some talent, but when you have more errors than anyone else in the National League, you are last in the league in defense. It catches up to you. That's what Felipe Alou has seen all year. Here's another example.
This is a play in which it's a good bunt by Chris Steins. Can't take anything away from Steinsy right here, but the pitcher's got to come up. Hey, he's got all day long to make this play. There's no reason to go down there with just one hand. You scoop that ball up into your glove using both hands. You come up and you get the easy play at first base, then go about your business.
That'll go as a base hit for Steins.
Very generous.
They're giving him a hit, so it's first and second. Now here's Cameron. Is he bunting? With first and second and no one out, the one thing you don't want is a double play. Cameron pretty good bunter, and the way this alignment is, Cameron more comfortable really bunting down the first base line, but you want the third baseman to be forced to field it. The decision, Cameron's here with Vidro so close to the bag at second. If he gets the ball past the pitcher to the right side, he may even drive in a run.
Well, you don't have to worry about that here. You've got some guys coming up that can drive the run in. Cameron has to get that ball down the third base line firmly to make the third baseman field it.
There's a ball.
And where Batista's trying to throw the ball, which is high and away, sometimes that's a little tougher to do. Just put the angle on the bat and make sure it goes down the line.
Cameron looks at Oster. Runners first and second leading off. Good speed on the base path, so ahead in the count. Don't be surprised if the Reds try to do something if Batista doesn't look the runners back. Bunt foul. It's a ball and a strike.
Boy, I don't understand that strategy by Mike Cameron. It went foul, no harm right there, but you're possibly bunting into a trap if Fulmer, the first baseman, is charging hard enough on this AstroTurf, a one-hopper to him, and you've got a forced play at third base.
Of all the bunts we've seen from Cameron this year, Chris, I'd say 85% of them have been to the right side, either for a base hit or for a sacrifice.
Yeah, but in the sacrifice situation like this, the first thing they teach you, make the third baseman field the ball.
But it's not so much what you're taught, but it's what you're scrambling for right here. And Cameron's never exhibited the ability to get it down to the third base line on a consistent basis. That's one of the strange things about Cameron. He's got great bunting ability, and as yet that's one part of his game he hasn't tapped as yet. He should be able to get the ball down the third base line consistently.
I've always thought a guy that gets 400 at bats at big league level ought to be able to do a whole lot with the bat when it comes to bunting that a lot of them can't do.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Need a sacrifice here.
It's a strike on the outside corner. We'll give Batista credit. He keeps nipping at that outside corner, making it more difficult for Cameron to get the ball down the third base line. Mike can't do it. It's 2-2. Now what do? Do you leave the bunt on? Do you take it off? Tucker's on deck. No one throwing in the bullpen for the Expos. Remember, they've already used the lone left-hander they have, Klein. Everyone else left out there is right-handed. And after Cameron comes Tucker, Dimitri Young, and Casey. Swing and a miss, and he punches him out. So the inability to get the bunt down not only doesn't get the runners over, but creates a situation where a double play can end the inning.
Well, second strikeout for Miguel Batista. He just blows this one right by Mike Cameron after throwing him a couple of pitches down in the strike zone that were buntable. Unable to get it down. That is very costly. You just wonder how costly.
Batista's second strikeout. Now 1 out, and here's Tucker. Well, with the right-handed batter up, a possibility that you would steal the 2 runners. Now with the left-hander up, very improbable you do that. So 1 out. It's up to Tucker to get a base hit and get the runners over. Ground ball to the right side. Vidro's at double play depth, and Fulmer's playing behind the runner at first, so they're going to try for 2. Infield hit and a sacrifice hit. on a bunt attempt by Steins to put 2 on for the Reds, and they're trying to squeeze one home here. 2-0 to Tucker. Pokey represents what is the winning run here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Give Batista credit. He's been aggressive here in this situation, and it's 2-1. To Tucker. Trying to get him inside, and it's 3-1. So now Tucker's in the driver's seat. 3-1 with 2 on and 1 out. Today in Florida, we understand now that the rain continues to come down, and they postponed that game between the Astros and the Marlins. Tucker rips it right field back. It is caught by Guerrero. Reese tagging at second. Will head to third.
If you're able to get a bunt down.
With runners at second and third, that would have ended it. As it is, with first and second, and only got the runner to third. Now there's 2 out. Watch Tucker unleash on this one.
Well, Michael Tucker almost hits this ball too good. Home run balls are just barely missed. This one was right on the screws, and it's kind of a humpback, and that's why it came down in time for the right fielder to get it. Tucker thinks he's got it and then realizes, oh, I got too much of that ball. Pokey Reese feels the same way. He goes, I better get back here and tag up. So now first and third with 2 out.
Even with Guerrero's arm, he easily got to third. Now they're not playing Stein, so he'll go off and running, and it's a ball inside. No, it's a strike. They said he went around. So Dimitri goes around. Tucker's bid for the ball game falls into the glove of Guerrero and right. Steins steals second, no stolen base because there was no effort to hold him on, so it's second and third. Only thing that does is guard against the force out at second. Here's Dimitri, the 1-strike pitch to him. Bounce towards the middle of the infield. Mordecai up and throwing. They got him. Oh, Mike Mordecai came up with the play when they needed it. So 2 on, no one out. The inability of the Reds to get the bunt down cost them a win here in the 9th. We're going extras in Cincinnati.
Scott Sullivan is, but roughed up somewhat lately. Pitched Friday's ball game, did not record an out, and gave up a hit and a couple of runs.
Sullivan will face Vidro, Guerrero, and Barrett. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Expos. Dennis Reyes starting to loosen in the bullpen. Extra inning games, Reds 7-3, and the Expos 3-7. Turn that around as we go extras. And what becomes a factor as we go extras at this time of the year are those shadows that will creep from behind home plate. As this inning progresses, they will start to envelop home plate, make it even more difficult for batters to see the baseball. A number to second. Pokey has it. There's 1 away. Scott Sullivan gets the first out of the 10th inning. And here's Guerrero. Vladimir continues to be the toast of the town north of the border. Doubled his first time up, knocked in the first run. That gave him hits in 27 consecutive games. That's a Montreal team record. Since then, he was robbed of a hit on a great play by Larkin at short, flied to right and popped to second. Vladimir 1 for 4. Down and away for a ball. Urbina's up and loosening in the bullpen. Now that when you're on the road and you have your closer, there is no situation where you talk about the save concept. You use whoever you got, and Urbina's out there.
Well, remember, when you're on the road playing extra innings, every time your team fails to score, you've got to record 6 outs to get a win. So Urbina down there, he's the best they've got left. Well, he was the best when they started, too.
Vladimir looking to end it with a swing there, give his club a lead. Fouls it off. It's 1-2.
You talk about how not to pitch Vladimir Guerrero. He doesn't get jammed very often. Take a look at that bat. That's been around a little bit. Got a little pine tar, some rosin on there. Usually a bat that's got that much buildup has become a favorite.
Waves at it.
They're calling it a foul ball.
Johnson tried to
pine tar.
That's about all that you'll get off that bat. He stays alive. 1-2. Good idea by Sullivan, though.
I mean, take a look at that bat, though, when you get a chance here. Look, you can see that white mark on it. That thing goes up there.
Right
Pretty
field.
good.
Tucker can't find it. Now he locates it, and he has it.
Boy, interesting day here at the ballpark today, George. We've seen all outfielders, left fielders and right fielders, lose the ball off the bat.
There's the shadows we talked about. So 2 away. And here's Michael Barrett. Barrett entered the game as Tucker's got the shades on now. The toughest field right now is left field, the way the sun is. Barrett pops it up. It'll be out of play, though, for strike one. Barrett entered the game when Chris Widger singled his first time up. Expos scored both their runs in the first inning against Ron Vallone. A double to right by Mordecai, and then with 2 outs, Guerrero doubled in a run to make it 1-0. Barrett singled in a run to make it 2-0. He slipped trying to round the base at first and jammed his knee and left the game with a sprained left knee. And Barrett's been in since. 0-2 for Sullivan. The end of the bat. Dimitri started back, now comes in. Can he get there? No. Going to second is Barrett. It'll go as a 2-base hit. Now, we talked about left field being the toughest field, looking into the sun. Right off the end of the bat, Dimitri's first step was back. He was dead right there. Couldn't recover in time. The ball drops in front of him. Now the go-ahead run is at second base with 2 outs.
A big swing and just an easy pop-up right there. Dimitri, and you see how deep he's playing anyway. You're preventing against the double. And he can't make up with it with the speed that he's got, and their ball will fall in there in an easy double.
So here's Sullivan against Shane Andrews. Andrews 1 for 4, 1 for 3 and a walk on the day. Slider outside for a ball. Mets beat St. Louis 8-7 in the first. Second game. Cardinals lead 1-0 in the third at Shea. Atlanta beat San Diego 3-2. Arizona's beaten Pittsburgh 7-5. LA leads Philadelphia 9-7 in the 8th, and San Francisco leads Milwaukee 5-1 in the 7th. Into the corner. This will score the go-ahead run. And Andrews chugs into second with a 2-base hit. So the misjudged fly ball. The Reds lost a great opportunity in the bottom of the ninth, not getting the bunt down, and now here in the 10th inning, the double, and a genuine double by Andrews, and the Expos have taken a 3-2 lead. Andrews has been a Reds killer throughout his career. Over .330, a career average against Cincinnati, and he comes up with another one here.
Looks like a breaking ball that was up in the strike zone, up, that is, around thigh high, ripped down the left field line, and an easy RBI. And a painful one to watch. It looked like the Reds could have been out of the inning.
So here's Fulmer. They'll walk him intentionally. He's 2 for 4 and has hit the ball hard all 4 times. 2 hits have stretched his hitting streak to 16 straight. Well, missed opportunities. Cincinnati has stranded 11 in this ball game through their 9 innings of work. So 2 on, 2 out. And Wilton Guerrero will come out of the dugout to pinch hit. So he'll hit for Batista, and now Urbina will get the chance to come on with a chance to close this out. Wilton steps in at 304, no home runs, 19 runs batted in. Two easy outs for Sullivan, and what looked like the third out. Barrett's Pop fly to left, dropped in front of Dimitri, and then the line drive double by Andrews, and it's 3-2 Montreal. A year ago this week that Wilton Guerrero, Vladimir Guerrero, started a game against Brett Boone and Aaron Boone. The two Guerreros homered. Brett Boone homered. Aaron was the only one of the four brothers who didn't. Got him, but the damage done. Back-to-back doubles. The Expos have a 3-2 lead. It's up to Casey and Larkin to try to get things rolling as we head to the bottom of 10.
You'll always remember your first pet. But you remember the first bank that let you bank how you want, when you want? It was First Star, the bank without boundaries.
Bank without boundaries.
First Star. You'll always remember your first paycheck. But you remember the bank that helped you start your first business? It was First Star, the bank without boundaries.
Bank without boundaries.
First Star.
Are you ready to hit the road?
Ever wish the world were more solid under your feet?
When the going gets tough, is a driver's seat the only seat for you?
Are you ready for something you've always wanted?
Then get to the Pontiac Hit the Road Summer Sell Down for 0% APR financing or $1,000 cash back on any solid 99 Grand Am.
Hit the road for Pontiac driving excitement.
See your dealer today.
What are you waiting for?
Reds fans, stay on top of what's going on with your team on Fox Sports Net Ohio with Real Reds.
It's going to be Gar!
Host Jeff Picaro and co-host George Grant and Chris Welch keep you up to date with in-depth interviews with Reds executives and players. Woo! Catch it all on Real Reds all season long on Fox Sports Net Ohio. Brought to you by AE Door, where they sell the best and service the rest.
The home half of this extra inning is brought to you by Homewood Suites Hotels. Follow your instincts. Find your way Homewood.
Well, the guy you did not want to see this afternoon, Uget Urbina, comes into the ball game. He's third in the league in saves. He's got 29 of them, Urbina does. A hard-throwing right-hander with a devastating slider. Tough character for the Reds to come up and try to get a run off of. He picked up save number 29 on Friday. 55 games, 357 earned run average. Look at that, 78 strikeouts in 58 innings. That's the definition of overpowering.
And he's been at his best in the last couple of weeks. His last 11 appearances, he's 1-0 with 9 saves, and his earned run average is over 1. Here's the save leader number board. Billy Wagner ahead of everybody with 32. Urbina with 29. As we head into the final 5 weeks of the season, Sean Casey will lead it off. Casey an 0 for 4 day. Casey, Larkin, Johnson due up. Sean 1 for 1 against Urbina. High into left field. McGuire into the game now in left, makes the catch, and there's one away. So one pitch, Casey's retired, and not very often this year you'll see an 0 for 5 for Sean Casey. That's what's on the right side of the score sheet for him today. Here's Barry Larkin, 1 for 3 in his career against Urbina. Well, you start a day, if you're playing the Astros, saying you don't want to get to the 9th or extra innings facing Wagner. And if you're playing the Reds, you don't want to face Williamson. And against the Expos, you don't want to let this guy get on the mound with a lead. And that's what he has here in the 10th.
Well, there's two guys, two all-star caliber players on this ball club year in and year out. And this guy is one of them. Uget Urbina, since he's been moved to the bullpen, he has been outstanding.
Barry takes it down and away, a ball and a strike.
And we've talked about Vladimir Guerrero enough. And they both damaged the Reds, or at least Guerrero did in the first inning, and Urbina has a chance here in the 9th.
1 out, no one on, 1-1 to Barry. Larkin doubled his 23rd of the year in the 2nd. slide out twice and walk. Fouled off, and it's 1-2.
Urbina has a distinction of being the first major leaguer to ever pitch in the big leagues with the initials UUU. But that's not a distinction in his own house. In fact, he's got 2 brothers who also share the same initials. Uget's real name or full name is Uget Ertine Urbina. His brothers, Ulysses Utah Urbina and Omer Ulysses Urbina.
At home, they just say you, me. No, you. Here's the 1-2 to Larkin. Down, 2-2.
Signed by the Expos out of their developmental school at the age of 16.
As we headed towards the July 31st trading deadline, his name was one of those bandied about as a possible tradee from the Expos who are going nowhere this year. But the price tag was high for Jim Beattie, and he never was traded. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Larkin. Towards the hole. Mordecai can't get it. Larkin's on. Now the wheels turn for Jack McKeon. Do you steal with Barry Larkin with 1 out and Johnson coming to the plate? Do you give Johnson a couple of pitches to give Larkin the chance to steal? Do you hit and run with him? Do you sacrifice with him? Johnson, not one you would expect to sacrifice with, so the alternatives here would either be hit and run or steal. Reds trying to avoid extinction here in the 10th inning.
Well, stolen base against Urbina, if you're looking at the stats on it, pretty good shot. 15 out of 16 successful against Uget. So Barry Larkin can get a lead. He's got a pretty good chance.
He has stolen 21, been caught 6 times this year. And Larkin's going. The pitch low, the throw's low, and Barry's in there. Number 22 for the captain. Well, we talk about it so often, Chris, when you play a team like the Reds or, for instance, the Astros. It's not how many bases you steal, but if it's Craig Biggio, do you steal it in the 9th or 10th? If it's Barry Larkin, do you steal it in the 9th or 10th? And that's exactly what the captain does here.
Well, he does it certainly with a big lead and a big jump. Aaron Boone did it in the 7th inning, came around to score that tie-up run. And when you do it, your George is absolutely right. Number 22, a very important one here for the Reds. Now with 1 out, you wonder if Urbina doesn't hold the runner close at second base, whether Larkin might take a chance for 3.
Larkin, one of the best in the business for pilfering third. Against a left-hander, you'd almost expect him to do it right off the top. Against Urbina, if he looks him back, less likely. Here's Johnson now. 1 ball for Bryant. He's in at 260, 4 home runs, 16 runs batted in. That's a breaking ball in there for a strike. Well, thinking Johnson's looking dead red. They give him the wrinkle, and Urbina evens the count 1-1.
Jack McKeon said the other day when Chris Steins hit that 3-run home run, he says, yep, now all we need is Brian Johnson to come up and deliver a big game-winning hit. Well, you never know.
1 ball, 1 strike to Johnson. Popped in the air to right. Larkin's going back to tag. Not against Guerrero. It's in short right, so Vladimir snares it. And there's 2 away. So it's up to yesterday's hero, Aaron Boone, who hit a grand slam to give the Reds a lead in a game they eventually won 9-3. Boone against Urbina, 1 for 2 in his career. Three runs, 11 hits for the Expos, 2 runs, 10 hits for the Reds. Houston's already been washed out today. The Reds started the day a game back of the Astros. Larkin's going. Pitch squirts away from the glove. Larkin turns and will hold at third. Oh, baby. Barry was thinking coming all the way. If that had glanced behind Barrett, he was heading home. Well, the captain's saying, let me take it into my own hands here.
You know, he gives Urbina a little bit of a look like he's going back to second base, and then he decides to go. Most times a runner will steal third base. They kind of get that walking lead where they've got their momentum going. But he's thinking 3 if that ball goes back to the screen. And he's 90 feet away from tying it up.
2 outs. Boone at the plate. Now, anything that squirts away from Barrett, you know Larkin will be coming. Line drive, center field, base hit. Here comes Larkin. It's a new ball game. What a year for Aaron Boone. Demoted early in the year, sent to Indianapolis. He's roared back. He's gotten the average up to 300. His first ever grand slam won yesterday's ball game. This keeps the Reds alive in the 10th. Another look.
Boy, does he do a nice job of keeping a level swing on this ball. Right up the middle. All you need is a base hit, but with 2 outs and a runner on third base, it's a tying run. That is a huge base hit. And that rewards all the people that decided to stay around and watch this squeaker.
Yeah, here's Pokey with Boone on first. Aaron already today has stolen his 12, so Urbina wants to keep a close eye. You almost expect Boone to be off and running here to give Reese a chance to win it. Well, the captain did it. 2 stolen bases, and then he scores on the squib hit through the infield. They'll dance him back again. That's what's great about this game. You say you don't want to face the big closer, but then when you have a year like the Braves, the Mets, the Astros, and the Reds are having, you find a way to beat that closer late in ball games. And the Reds are trying to do it here against Urbina. Short lead for Boone. He's not going. He bluffs with 2 steps and then heads back. It's ball 1. Pokey. Bounced out. Popped out, struck out, and then his last time up he had an infield hit that stretched his hitting streak to 10 straight. And they'll chase Boone back again.
They're not really getting any closer at picking Aaron Boone off. I'm not so sure why Urbina's having such a preoccupation with him over there, unless he's getting called from the dugout to throw to first.
No one up in the bullpen for the Expos. It's Urbina's game right here in the 10th.
All it does is increase the odds of throwing it down the right field line.
Boone not going. Pitch out, and Barrett was looking for a pitch out. Urbina threw it over the plate.
Hunter Wendelstein almost got it in the grill.
Take a look at this one.
The catcher goes out. The pitch goes in.
Look out.
Hello.
So now it's 2-0 to Pokey. Mark Lewis is sitting in the on-deck circle for the Reds, with Williamson due up next. Boone not going. Pokey swings and misses for a strike. It's 2-1.
Pokey lost his little protective glove right there. That little Velcro stick-on that protects his hand. Remember, he got hit in the hand in Los Angeles and missed quite a few days. Missed almost 2 weeks of baseball. Well, where's that pad up there? He can choose the soft one or the hard one.
2 balls, 1 strike. Boone going. Fouled off by Pokey, and it's 2-2. Well, this is where it becomes so difficult at home plate. The shadows now have enveloped home plate, and especially when you get someone with the velocity of Urbina.
You know, it's disturbing when it's like that, George, but a hitter makes his mind up really almost as the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. When that shadow now begins to envelope the pitcher's mound in the dirt area, that's when it really gets tough. We're about 5 minutes away from that.
Boone's going, swing and a miss. Reese is punched out, but the Reds have prolonged this one. Barry Larkin, infield hit, 2 stolen bases. He scores a tying run. We will live for another. We're going 11 in Cincinnati. Tie.
America's newest tire store has just the
location.
Reese at second and Casey over at first. Johnson behind the plate for Scott Sullivan, who goes into his 2nd inning of work. Sullivan got the first 2 outs of the 10th. A bloop double by Barrett put a runner at second. Andrews doubled him home to give Montreal a 3-2 lead, and then Sullivan got out of the inning with a strikeout. Here's McGuire for his first at bat. He came into left field last inning. McGuire against Sullivan here in the 11th. Reds will have the 9th spot in the order, due up when we head to the bottom of 11. McGuire in at 220. Ran 124 at bats, 2 home runs. Skied this one to right center field. Cameron trying to get an angle on it. He does. Good job by Mike Cameron. Talk about the sun. You peer up heading towards first base. You're looking right into the sun. You saw Cameron get the angle on that. Glove it, and there's one away.
You know, even those polarized glasses you wear out there sometimes don't cut the glare down when there's no clouds in the sky. Very few clouds this afternoon. You look up there looking for that ball. It's in these kind of days, George, when you take your eye off the ball one time, that's when it's tough to get it again.
Here's Rondell White against Sullivan. There's a strike. Rondell popped out, reached on an error, bounced back to the pitcher, fly ball out, and a pop out to the catcher. Added up, an 0 for 5 afternoon. There's a strike. Well, Sullivan, Chris, looks like he's got the best stuff he's had since that long layoff. He's come back a couple of times and shown flashes of it, but today it appears he's got movement on that fastball again.
Well, here's a guy with 86 innings under his belt out of the bullpen. You have to figure he has done very well when he gets a lot of work. But we've seen that over the years, George. The more work he gets consistently, that is, the better he is. He's not overpowering by any means, so sometimes when you get a guy like Sullivan whose fastball is better in the mid 80s than it is when if he can throw a little bit harder, like in the high 80s or maybe even around 90.
Did he go? Yes, he did. And Rondell's punched out. Oh, this is a little bit of Sullivan movement and a little bit of the shadows.
Sometimes you got to figure that if you're a little bit overpowering, you can't spot that ball the way you want to. We've seen a few of those go to the deck, but not that one. And the check swing by Rondell not in time, and that's strike 3.
So 0 for 6 for White, and here's Mordecai. Mike started the rally for the Expos in the first. They scored 2 in the first. Mordecai doubled. Guerrero doubled them home. Widger singled in Guerrero. It was 2-0 Montreal. Rest of the day for Mordecai. Got another hit, so he's 2 for 5 coming to the plate here in the 11th. Reds head to Atlanta after the ball game. The Expos head home. Cincinnati 6-3 homestand, trying to conclude a homestand where they win 7 of 10. Big showdown week. The Reds head to Atlanta to play the Braves. The pitching rotation. Tomorrow we're on the air at 7:30. Brett Tomko against Kevin Millwood. Tuesday we're on at 7:30. Pete Harnish against John Smoltz. Wednesday a day game, 1 o'clock. Denny Nagel against Tom Glavine. Meanwhile, the Astros head to New York to play the Mets. So the 4 contenders for 2 key spots of division championships in a wild card berth battle each other in the start of this coming week. And as you look ahead at the final month, the Reds have 2 left against the Astros the last week of the season in Houston. And the Mets and the Braves go at each other twice in the final 10 days, home and away. Luke towards right. Casey, does he have room? To the stands. It's 2 rows in. Long afternoon of baseball for number 21, and both of these ball clubs trying to close it out here in the 11th. We are tied 3-3. Inside will go full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mordecai will walk. So a 2-out walk, and there's a runner on, and here you get to the trouble part of the lineup. Vidro, then Guerrero. Vidro tonight in 0 for 5. Casey will hold Mordecai down at first. Slap foul down the left field line for strike one. Second game of that doubleheader. Cardinals now lead the Mets 3-1. Craig Paquette, 2-run home run, scored Thomas Howard, bottom of the 4th inning. Cardinals 3, Mets 1. Boy, what a month Paquette has had. 3 game-winning hits in the last 10 days, and he's put his club ahead here 3-1. You missed it earlier. McGuire 2 home runs. He now has 50. There goes Mordecai. Here comes the throw. They got him. Well, let's see if that'll turn the tide. Mordecai trying to pick the pocket of the Reds. Instead, gets nailed at second. Here we go to the bottom of 11. 9-1 and 2 due up for the Reds.
Quality time with family and friends is very important.
Throw by Johnson to end the inning. It looked like it was a delayed steal right there, George, where on a delayed steal you have a situation where the runner's trying to pick the pocket of not necessarily the catcher but the middle infielders. But there's Barry Larkin coming over in time, and out by a long shot is Mike Mordecai.
Well, here's Urbina's second inning of work. Reds got a run off him on an infield hit, a single to center, and 2 stolen bases from Larkin. Here's Mark Lewis to pinch hit as we go to the bottom of 11.
You know, defensive Mordecai on that, George. It's a kind of aggressive play you need to play when you're a team like the Expos, especially when you're on the road in extra innings. You've got to make something happen.
Lewis fouls it off, a ball and a strike. He's batting for Sullivan as Dennis Reyes starts to loosen in the bullpen for the Reds. Jack McKeon and the Reds hope they won't need him. They love to end it here in the 11th. Lewis, Cameron, then Tucker. Sean Casey would be 4th in the inning. Fouled off and held on to by Barrett. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mark in at 267. He's got 4 home runs and 20 runs batted in. Against Urbina, he's 0 for 3 in his career. On a line to center. White has a beat on it. Got it. Hit pretty good by Lewis, but Rondell tracks it down. There's one away. Back to the top of the order, Mike Cameron.
For Mark Lewis, one of the better fastball hitters on this ball club. He comes off the bench usually to face somebody who can get it up there in a hurry. And rarely do you see him late on it. He thought he had maybe one in the gap right there.
Here's Cameron. In the bottom of the 9th, the Reds had the first 2 runners on. Pokey Reese an infield hit. Stein's trying to sacrifice. Beat it out for a hit. The Reds had first and second. Cameron could not get a sacrifice bunt down. Wound up striking out. Had he gotten the bunt down and the runners advanced, Tucker followed with a line drive to the warning track and right. That would have scored the winning run. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, not happening, and Cameron gets a chance to redeem himself here in the 11th. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And you know that that is in the forefront of his mind. Sometimes maybe trying to get him to do a little bit too much.
What a great addition he's been for the Reds this year. Tremendous defense in center day in and day out, and he's provided a spark wherever he's been in the lineup. Swings and misses here, and it's 1 and 2.
Maybe it was in this at bat that he tried to lay a bunt down to the right side and get it over to the second baseman. Boy, Vidro's playing out there at second, very, very deep. But now with 2 strikes.
1 and 2. Cameron has a double back in the 3rd. 1 for 5 on the day. That's inside. 2-2. Inside 3-2. You would expect this would be Urbina's last inning. Very seldom would you see this closer used for more than 2. Expos head home Monday, a 7 o'clock game against the Cardinals, so there's no day off tomorrow for Montreal. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cameron trying to find a way to get on. That's ball 4, and the Reds have the winning run on. So now the running game takes effect again. We started this day by talking about one of the biggest discrepancies in these 2 teams. The Reds 120 stolen bases, the Expos 56. Barry Larkin's 2 stolen bases enable the Reds to get into position to tie it in the 10th. Now we'll see what Cameron does. He's already sitting on a career high 31 stolen bases. Here's Tucker to the plate. Michael knocked in the Reds' first run with a single to center in the 3rd. Off Batista in the 9th, he hit a blistering line drive to right. Short lead for Cameron as Urbina comes to the set position. They'll toss over there and almost thrown away. Good job by Fulmer.
Well, I talked last inning about Urbina's preoccupation with the base runner. That time it was Aaron Boone he threw over a couple of times, and throws over hard too. He just doesn't lazily throw the ball over there to give you a warning shot over the bow. He's trying to pick somebody off.
I'll go over there again. Now, there are some players when the game gets tighter, they get looser. The guy at the plate, Michael Tucker, is one of those players. He has a way to turn his intensity up a notch, but not get tied in doing it. He's come up with big hits for Atlanta when he was there and for the Reds here. Cameron inches off the bag. Bluffs going, pitches outside.
I'll tell you another thing about Michael Tucker. He might be the best dresser in this league. Did you see the suit he wore in today to go back to his old hometown, Atlanta?
He does style. He always does.
Yeah,
not just today, every day. He's heading back to the scene of the crime.
He's right up there, Ozzie Smith type of stuff.
1 ball to Tucker. A little bit bigger lead now for Cameron. 1 foot on the turf. He's going, gets a good break, and it's popped up. Will it carry into the seats? Yes, it will. Ball and a strike. Cameron had a great break, had the base stolen, but Tucker thought he had a pitch he could do something with. Just got under it a bit, and it's a ball and a strike. In this stage, you know that Cameron's on his own. He's got the green light all the time from Jack McKeon. Urbina to the set. Cameron 1 foot on the turf again. Not going this time, and it's down and in for a ball. 2-1. McKeon trying to keep his team in the chase. Astros already rained out. A win by the Reds could move them a half game back. A loss means they'd be a game and a half back. Cameron not going. Pitch, base hit, right field. Cameron takes the turn. He's heading to 3rd. Here comes the cannons, and there's the throw. It's cut, and Tucker just gets back. Good job, Michael Tucker. Not only the base hit, but with Guerrero throwing, and you know Cameron's going to 3rd, most players would have been picked off rounding 1st, but Tucker gets back. Here's another look.
Give some credit to Davey Collins on this. He goes over this kind of stuff all the time. Don't become an easy out on the back end of a play. And that strong arm by Guerrero right there, the cutoff to get back, get back. There's Davey Collins. He'll help the umpire out with the signal too. Bang, bang. Mike Cameron all the way. He's figuring, hey, I don't care who's out in right field. You've got to catch my wheels, and very few can do it.
now the wheels turn. First and third, one out. What do you do with Tucker at first? Do you send him with the infield in? Felipe moves that whole infield in. Now he moves the outfield in too with one out. As Hammonds comes to the plate, this is Jeffrey's first at bat today. Down and away for a ball.
4 wild pitches already this year for Urbina.
Cameron, great speed at third, great speed by Tucker at first. The first baseman Fulmer with the infield in, not holding Tucker on at first. That run at first doesn't mean anything. The only thing that means something would be a force at second, but the key batter here is Hammonds, down for a ball. And on deck for the Reds is Sean Casey. While this is Hammond's first at bat, Casey has had an uncharacteristic 0 for 5 today. Don't you think he'd like to have a hand in wiping this one off the slate? Hammonds has come up with big hits for the Reds in his second season in Cincinnati. There goes Tucker, pitches away. So Tucker will go to second. He will not be credited with a stolen base as they made no effort to either hold him or throw to second. So
I don't agree with the call, but I do agree with Tucker taking second. What if there's a one-hopper to the second baseman with Tucker standing on first? That's a double play that ends the inning.
Exactly.
So he's got to take that base on the first chance he gets. I'm glad he got there.
3-0 to Hammonds. You know he's got the green light. Outside ball 4, bases loaded. Well, the good news is the bases are loaded. The bad news is that this does set up a force at any base and a chance for a double play that could end the inning. Here comes Sean Casey. No one in the bullpen for Felipe. Casey 0 for 5. Frustrated at the plate, and Jack McCann, even with the 0 for 5, knows that he'd like no one but this guy to come to the plate here in the 11th inning. Casey today bounced into a double play, fly to left, rather bounced into a double play in the 6th, one fly ball to left in the 1st, another one in the 10th, a strikeout and a bouncer to first. Urbina against Casey. Infield still in, so if they're going for 2, it'll be to the plate first. The other part of this equation, they like to come in, down and into Casey. You throw one in the dirt, and Cameron will be heading home pronto. Larry Larkin's on deck for the Reds, but here's the game with Casey at the plate. Cameron represents the winning run, 3-3, bottom of 11. Listen to the chant of the fans here. KC, KC.
All Sean needs to do is get it into the outfield. Urbina, when he goes upstairs, tries to get the strikeout. When he goes downstairs with the slider, the same deal. But they're in a situation now where they could possibly turn a double play if he hits it right at somebody.
Listen to the chant, listen to the clapping, and watch Cameron lead off third as Urbina's ready to deal to Casey. The crowd will tell the story. In on the hands, fouled off again, 0-2.
You know, George, we talked about the shadows. Well, the few clouds that are there, one of them apparently has gotten in front of the sun, has really diminished that shadow effect on the field right now. Not nearly as bright and dark as it was, and it's getting to the point now it would be very tough to pick up Urbina if that sun comes back out.
No balls, 2 strikes to Casey. He fouled off a nasty pitch from Urbina, and it stays at 0-2. Well, 2 guys who are at the best of what they do. One a closer, the other a hitter who's led the National League in hitting for 54 days this year. Even though his average has dipped to 335, Sean Casey says it clearly and sincerely. As long as we keep winning and I have a hand in it, I don't care what my average is. Casey. Spoiled another one. I'll give Urbina credit. He keeps pumping strikes at number 21, and this is a duel that you sit around for 3 hours to wait for. Been a pick your hero year for the Reds. Every night a different player. A pitcher, a batter, a defender. Right now it's in the hands of number 21. 3-3, bottom of 11. He holds on it.
Nasty forkball right there. Boy, that's a catcher's nightmare. When you know that it's coming, you tried to get your fastball by the hitter. Casey's been up to every one of them, including that recent fastball that was at 96. Then he comes to that forker. Look out. That thing takes a bad bounce and it's all over. Good job by Michael Barrett.
Great job by Barrett. Three guys doing what they had to do. Urbina threw it in the dirt. Barrett had to block it, and Casey held.
Remember, Barrett's a converted infielder. He only started catching a few years ago.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Casey. They go back there again. Bases loaded. Bottom of 11. At first, the Reds win 4-3. That tells you the story of this Reds team of '99. It doesn't take a hit all the time. It doesn't take a big play. It takes the little things, and finally they do the little things in the bottom of 11. Casey's sacrifice fly gives the Reds a 4-3 win. What a way to end a 7-3 homestand, Chris.
Well, you play them around just long enough in order to win that series. The 9th consecutive series the Reds have won in a row. That's the most in the major leagues this year. Boy, this is a ball club that can build on some momentum.
Our Advance Auto Parts play of the game. He fought off 4 tough pitches. Gets this one to left. That's all he needed. The sacrifice fly gives the Reds the win. Our Advance Auto Parts play of the game. So the Reds win it 4-3. Our first star of the game is Mike Cameron. He started it all with a base hit and eventually scores it to end it. So the Reds win it 4-3. For Chris Welch, our entire crew, this is George Grand. Good day, everybody. See you at the ballpark.